That is awesome. Well, thanks everyone for joining our first AMA of the year. Um, yeah, usually when we do AMAs, we invite speakers who come to cover a ton of topics. But I think this is the first time that we're doing an AMA in a while without any guest speaker because I think today Falakavi and Newbie will be your guest speakers, and they have a lot to talk about in terms of how the year went. I can see the annual report here. If you read the annual report, can you just give me thumbs up? Um, Anybody who's read it, any feedback would be super useful. Thank you for those who read it. If you haven't read it, I think Zainab will paste the link in the comments so that you can go get a copy. It has a lot of great data, which I believe we'll go through today. For those who don't know me, my name is Joe Kinvey, and I have been for the past 5 years one of the community managers here, but that's about to change. But for you to find out, you'll have to wait till the end of the session so that we can share all the great, amazing changes that we've got coming up this year. Right. I'm based in London, and I've been, again, essentially started running HoaQ with Nubi. I believe we are coming to the end of our 5th year of doing this, and we've seen ups, we've seen downs, and now I feel like there's a renewed energy in the air as the year has started. We've seen a lot of people join HoaQ Club this year already, and we're still in January. And I can only imagine the amount of people that will be joining the community as the year goes on. If you're new to the community, joined through platform, and you had access to our Slack, I just want to give like a small apology. Usually we have a ton of deals, but things have changed a little. Well, at the start of the year, we don't have a lot of deals that come, which is normal. But also we're spending a lot of time in the back end to make sure that we only bring deals that we believe that you should back. What that means is the number of deals you'll see from the community will reduce significantly, but because we believe that quality over quantity. However, if you're part of the Slack and you go to a Slack channel named #2-Decks and Deals, you will be able to see anything that we're seeing. So we share a lot of data there, and yeah, you will see if you see any interesting deals. There's no harm in posting an index in deals, and that's because yeah, it's exactly what it is. We plan to post as many deals there as possible. Okay, I think this is the end of all I've got to say. I want to give the microphone to Folakemi, aka HoaQ Club, that you can see on your screen, and then Newbie to take away today's session, which is reflection and projections for the year 2025. All right, guys, unless I missed something, please take it away.
Thank you, Joe. Thank you so much. Thank you, everyone, for joining us today. For those of you that don't know, HoaQ Club is a community of angel investors that are backing businesses building for Africa and for the diasporas in Africa, right? So typically our mission is to enable startup founders that are building tech and tech-enabled businesses. So I think that's just a part that wasn't covered. So thank you so much for joining us today. Today we'll just be going through the most viewed pages on our annual report. This call was based on popular demand, to be honest. So we saw that a lot of you were looking at our numbers, also the number, how much was deployed last year, and we will get into that. And another of our syndicates called Diaspora House will also get into all of that. So if you are yet to view the annual report, the link has been dropped, I believe. So you can just click on it and walk along with us. Hi, Newbie, are you here?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay. Perfect. So we are starting with 2024 numbers, since everybody wants to know how much we deployed and into how many deals. So last year we deployed 100K, right, and into 5 startups. I know that typically this is lesser than we usually do, right, Newbie? And we deploy lesser than we would, but in my opinion, I think we are still on average with the VC sector. Because I mean, in 2022, over 5 billion was deployed into African startups, and last year we saw 2.2 billion deployed into African startups. So typically, we're still on average, right? Nubi, what do you think about it?
Yeah, I think I was looking at the numbers, and if you actually like zoom out on HoaQ from when we actually started, April 2020, I believe this actually was exactly the amount we actually deployed in the first year of running HoaQ, and that number went from I think 100 to about I think it was like a 10x change. It's like it was like deploying
Yes.
1.something million in the next 2 years or so, and of
Yes.
course we see that went down again in the third year, fourth year, and also it's very much aligned to what we see actually happening in the VC ecosystem. While capital has been drawn back, quality deals or quality founders and startups are still commanding for deals to actually happen. And so yes, we actually saw us deploy about $100,000 last year, with an average of 10K into each deal. I think if you're just even looking at maybe if you scroll to the set of deals that we actually did, we see the 5 startups that actually like commanded this capital. So GoLemon, a commerce startup out of Nigeria, founded by 4 ex-Paystack employees. So just by the nature of the team and what they had done in their past and what they've built in their past, and from product to marketing to operations, they're able to actually command capital in a very short period of time. Mira is an ex-Flutterwave and ex-Paystack founders as well. We see Monaco is ex-Paystack founder there as well. Although you see again a YC startup there, Monaco is a YC startup as well. First of its kind out of Benin, and other Francophone Africa. So out of France. We see Texture Science Labs, like a very odd horse in the bunch, but again, that beauty airwig manufacturing space. And then last but not least, another YC startup, Zimi, out of the US, African founders going after the cross-border logistics opportunity. So very, very interesting set of deals and founder profiles. But like I said, like despite the drawback of capital, we see quality founders, quality teams going after large opportunities to be able to demand venture to back their efforts.
Nubi, I just wanted to add on those 5 companies. I believe 4 of them have at least a female co-founder, and I think it's probably the highest number of female co-founders that we've backed this year. If you can scroll up a little, I want to show. I think all but Monaco has a female co-founder, and sorry, yes, no, you've gone past it.
Just the companies.
Yeah, the companies. Yeah. So like Zini has a female CEO, Texture Science Labs has a female CEO, and Goleman and Mir have a female co-founder. So like I think we should not underestimate the African female co-founders, because like they are powerful. They got into YC and they're doing their thing. They're literally building their own. Like they are leading categories. Like Texture Science Labs is making hair in Nigeria, and she's just a beast. So I really, really, really hope that we get to back more female founders. The other thing that was quite interesting is I remember when I was looking at the people that are investing in Texture Science Labs, it was mostly women. And that is a testament of the amount of women, female investors that we have in the HoaQ community. So if you're somebody who, again, wants to invest in women, while we're not women only syndicate, you will see a lot of female founded companies at HoaQ. The company that's coming tomorrow, I don't think we've talked about it, but he also has a female co-founder, which is super interesting. So yeah, sorry, back to you guys.
Thank you so much, Joe. And I think like it's also important to note that while we're still deploying funds, we're still backing founders. due to uncertainties, I think I just have like a quick advice for founders, right? You know, you're building. I would just advise that build clear roadmaps that highlight your adaptability and sustainability. I think that is what everyone is looking out for right now. So, and you know, just a nice to have at the back of your mind while you are building your businesses. Now I think we would also go to, okay, last year we did 400 pitch decks, we spoke to over 150 founders and brought 35 deals to the community with 5 deals closed.
That's a very tough funnel. Yeah, when I was looking through that number, I was like, wow, that's and first of all, big shout out to every member that is always like recommending and spotting deals for us to look at. I think when I look at the decks and deals as well as the venture partner channel, I just see like startups coming in, like rolling in on a daily basis. So we do see a lot of like startups and founders, even before they actually even put a pitch deck together, like some people even flag them. So thanks, please keep flagging them. The quality of our pipeline is as much as we leverage. But yes, like just going on those numbers, I've seen like 400 deals coming throughout the year, and then that translating to 35 deals coming to the community. That shows the amount of filtering and just again, I know Folake would meet its founders day in, day out, just trying to filter. Okay, does this meet our thesis? Can we draft a memo on this? Does this make sense? And of that 35 that we brought to the community, only 5 got closed. So that's another high conversion. So just even look at the pipeline alone, I think it's just there are deals happening. So that's a good thing. 400 deals throughout the year, there are deals happening, plus building, and that's very good. And so we have to get again who are the best of that to actually engage with and bring to the community. And again, also say a big shout out to everyone who's played a role in helping feed that pipeline as well.
Thank you. We also noticed everyone wants to know about our exits over the last 5 years. Quickly, can anybody just mention to me, let's say, 2 common exits in investments rather? You can just drop a message, or you can unmute.
M&A, yeah.
Okay. Okay.
IPO.
Okay. Anyone else? I know. Okay. Anyone else?
Well, shut down. You want to call out an exit?
I mean, that's an exit as well.
I mean, 0x. That'll be 0x.
Okay.
But we don't like this kind of exit though. We don't like that kind of exit.
Okay. All right. So before we quickly get into that, let me just quickly tell you at least 3 common ones that we noticed, right? So we noticed M&As, IPOs, like someone mentioned, and we have secondary sales, right? So merger and acquisition, in easy terms, acquisition when a larger startup acquires a smaller one that is either dying or a strategic move to leverage their licensing or whatever. That's one, right?
Shout out Lemfi.
Oh, thank you. Shout out to Lemfi.
We just acquired an Irish, like
I know they can
licenses and all. Yeah.
Can we just take a pause?
Okay.
And flag how much of a flex it is to have Nigerian founders buying Irish companies? Guys, like I grew up in Ireland and like I know that place. So it is such a flex. I shout out to Read1. I sent him a text yesterday. But yeah, it's such a flex. Like, I feel like the ecosystem is not making a lot of noise about this acquisition.
That's true. And even with that move that we saw yesterday as well, acquired a company. Come on, in Brazil, I think. Yeah,
guys.
And also,
like, seriously,
we're really doing it.
we're doing it, and we're doing it. Like, and I think it's something that we need to celebrate more. And all these articles I'm seeing, the articles are they're not shouting. These articles need to be like going crazy because guys, it's such a flex. Anyway, I digress.
I mean, I think that you should become a reporter. Are you sure you don't want to drop what you're building and become a reporter? But apologies, we digress. Okay, so I mentioned IPOs, I mentioned mergers and acquisitions, now secondary sales, right? So secondary scale sales typically happens when, you know, larger investors buy out the smaller investors in order to just accommodate the larger investors and more for them. So in HoaQ over the years, we've seen at least 8 different types of exits. Remember, I have mentioned 3 types. So I'm not saying that, you know, all of the exits were what they were. But again, this is why the power law dynamics comes in. So Nubi, Joe, do you want to speak a little bit about power law dynamics before we even go into it?
It's simple. It's simple. One win clears all your losses. That's,
Very simple.
yeah, make sure you want to get one very big win that again covers all the losses that you accrue over that period of time as well. So you see one company can clear like 10, 20, even 100 losses. Yeah, so you just want to make sure you're spreading your capital in a way where you could simulate that kind of outcome.
And I just wanted to add that at HoaQ, we have exits, and everybody wants to know where the exits are. Now, they're all not positive exits, but they're still exit nonetheless. I can see some people on this call who last week I paid them out, and I paid them out handsomely, and it's very nice. But what that means is we also made money, which is very nice. I logged into one of our accounts the other day. I'm like, we have money. And then Folakemi is coming up with like trips and all these expenses are just coming out of nowhere. But on the good side, yes, we have exits. We've actually paid people out. It's not the first time we've done it, but we did one this year. I think we have another one that is ongoing. The thing with these exits is they're quite dedicated, and you don't want to be the one to release the companies around. For example, this company that we paid out last week, they raised the Series A, but the company hasn't announced it, so we cannot talk about it. But as soon as that round is announced, if ever, we will make sure to let the community know. But if you're an investor, you already know. I don't have to be telling you this. You've already received your money, you probably spent it already. But yeah, Folakemi, back to you.
Okay, thank you very much. I think like there's not much to say again on exits.
I wonder if we could pause here for any questions, because I think again this was one of our most viewed pages. And it makes sense. I mean, one of the reasons why we say we're doing HoaQ is we want to actually give returns to investors. Yes, there's the altruistic, there's the whole like impact and being part of a founder's journey and just all of what that brings. But again, you've parted with money, and so like we owe it to you to try our best to return that money as well to you. So I'm curious if anybody have any questions, particularly on exits from what they've seen.
You can just unmute yourself. Okay.
I have a question actually. So my question is, when these exits happen, right? Are all investors compelled to exit at
Good
once?
question.
Yeah.
That's a very good question, Joe. Since you've been helping us with the mechanics of it.
The answer is it depends. So, and there is like, one thing I've also learned is there's so many versions of this that you just have to do as they're happening. For example, the exit that I paid out last week, everybody exited. So essentially HoaQ as the custodian of these shares was responsible to, first of all, go into a liquidation, sign all documents and pay now everybody. The one that we have currently ongoing, not everybody wanted to exit. So people kind of like, self-elected, hey, I want to exit, no, I don't want to exit. We're even dealing with a case where people are like, oh, I want to sell half of my holdings. And Folakemi and I spent time yesterday just trying to, is it yesterday or the day before, Folakemi? 2 days ago, right? Yeah. Just trying to figure out what does that look like from a documentation perspective, because again, like there's legalities that come with Again, somebody selling a piece of the shares. So far we've dealt with, I think, 2 or 3 different versions. Yeah, Massimo, you're not always guaranteed a right not to sell the shares. It depends, right? So the way we structure the investments, it happens in a syndicate, and there's an agreement that essentially guides that investment within the company. Now, if like sometimes when the founders are asking you, please sell your stock, you might as well just do it, take your money, because they need bigger investors to essentially have, because some investors, when they want to buy stocks in companies, they have a minimum holding they want to buy. Meaning that I've actually had a lot of founders who come to me like, hey, Joe, I have this investor who want to acquire 5%. Can you sell your stake? Most of the time I just say no. Because when a company wants you to exit, that's because things are going well. Yeah. So most of the time, like, nobody's gonna want to give you money if things are not going really well. So and like, I think once we've had to bring it to a vote, again, but most of the time we just, like, again, unless you have to sell, we don't sell. So there's been various iterations of this, and it's not like, again, for people who are HoaQ members, please stay in the Slack channel. We post a lot of stuff there. So every investment has a closed Slack group. So some people are like, there's no activity here. Well, if you invested, you'll see activities. Sorry. So there is activity. It's just like happens in closed Slack groups, and there is just like, we are in this weird space where you have to protect the information of founders while also not be like secrets. So yeah, there is a lot of information that happen, and they happen within this closed group. So, and if you don't have access, please just post there. I actually have people who actively post, ask questions. Please, this is your money after all, and if you have questions, do ask.
Yeah, I also wanted to add as well that I think also the premise of why HoaQ existed was that we get in as early as possible, and we go on to, say, Series A, Series B, and so I think also just having as a rule of thumb as well to say, okay, if I'm entering this round at the seed round or pre-seed round, we can follow on to Series B, and that's because we position ourselves as an early stage investor, and so either doubling down post Series B might seem very, very like yeah, what are you guys doing? Or also the liquidity, like again, the dilution actually would occur post that time as well. So if you've, again, I'm just giving an example, and I think the table shows a few of the multiples there. If we're seeing, like, again, a 8x multiple, for example, for company 6, when you enter that between seed and Series A, I think that's marvelous. Just yeah, let's take your money and go home. But yeah, there is that word where Joe mentioned, where it's say, okay, do you know what, I will cash out half of this or a percentage of this, and I'll just let the rest ride to whenever the final, like, again, liquidity event takes place. Yeah.
Thank you.
Awesome. Any other questions on exits?
Yeah, I'm just conscious of
time.
So
exactly.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. Since no questions, we'll just go to the last page people were looking at, and that is Diaspora House. I'm actually excited to see, outside of Joe, some other Diaspora House leaders here. So in the spirit of diversifying class assets, we started another syndicate called Diaspora House. And Diaspora House is a real estate investment community that strategically invests in real estate across Africa. And good news, we literally started Diaspora House a couple of months ago, actually, and we've bought our first house and we finished it. We've already started to list the house out, and we're already on our second apartment in Cape Town. So the first house we got was in Nairobi, and the new one is going to be in Cape Town. And we're already looking at another apartment in Nairobi as well. So I'm just going to pass it on to Joe, and I think Kobe, if he wants to speak, to tell us more about Diaspora House.
You would be glad to know that we also have our first customer on this call. Our first customer of Diaspora House, I call it, the name of the invoice is DH for Diaspora House, N for Nairobi, 01 first property, 001. I think I'm going to frame that invoice. Can anybody just guess who that customer is randomly? Oh, yeah, you guessed right. His name is Nubi Kay. So Nubi Kay is actually the first the first ever customer of Diaspora House. And so Kubi and I, we spent time in Nairobi getting this across the line. And guys, I hate furniture shopping, but I did it. And I realized that, yeah, I don't like the furniture shopping. It kind of sucks. But for me, it was a very good experiment to essentially add the real estate asset class to the things that we need to learn and the things that we know. Diaspora House is like, now I'm thinking, why didn't we do this 4 years ago? But in retrospect, when you look at real estate as an asset class, it's what my grandfather has done. It's what my mom has done. It's what my parents have done. It's what our parents have done. Like, why are we not investing in more real estate? And real estate, when I speak to people who've done it, they're like, yeah, I might not make a lot of money, but at least I won't lose my money. So as soon as we finished the first property, we actually had about, I don't know, like 4 or 5 people. We had a lot of people like, okay, when is the next property in Nairobi? And we're like, no, we didn't plan to do another property in Nairobi. And they're like, oh, well, we think you should. So as we're speaking, for the second property that we're looking at in Nairobi, it's got, I think, 60 or 65% commitment. That one, oh yeah, there's the forms and stuff. Somebody's posting them in the comments. So yeah, we have, I think, 65% commitment for the second property. It is not, so the first one is a 2-bedroom. The second one is a 1-bedroom. And I think, at least for now, after these two, we're moving over to Cape Town. And as we're speaking, we have a dilemma. For Cape Town, we have a commitment, but we don't have a house. So we have, I think, over $200,000 in commitments of, i.e., people who want to make a booking. And I got a text from a friend of mine yesterday, and she was like, when this property is ready, hopefully by April, I need to rent it. I'm like, sis, we don't even have a place. But this is a call out to anybody who's in Cape Town. What we're looking for is, we're looking for a 2-bedroom in places like Greenpoint, Sea Point, Gardens, Cape Town City Center. So if you know anybody there, please send them our way. We actually have people who are ready to invest, and a lot of these properties we invest in cash, and the aim is very simple. As a community, we rent it out and we distribute the rental income as distributions at the end of the year. Very, very simple, like nothing too complicated. Once a year, you get the option to sell your stake in the company, in the property. And yeah, like, I mean, real estate, people like me, I spend maybe 30-40% of my year on the road, specifically in Africa. And I will be a customer because I'll be on the continent anyway. Folakemi, you one day are going to Nairobi. I'm trying to encourage them to stay in after Nubi because I like to take the coins. Because this money will be spent regardless. Why can't we pull it together and invest and distribute it back to the community? And also, we have an asset that will most likely appreciate. But again, with all these things that are said, any type of investment comes with risk. So please read all the T's and C's before you send your money. But yeah, Kobe, anything you want to add? I guess not. Okay, let's keep it moving. So we have a ton of links in the comments. And if you want to learn more about Diaspora House, please go there or just ping me. Or if you have my number, text me, I'll add you to the WhatsApp group.
Okay, thank you so much, Joe, for that. So those are the pages that we wanted to really speak on. Does anyone have any other pages you want us to look at? Just quick 5 minutes before we go into the next thing. This is your time to shine. You can ask any questions about HoaQ and we would answer you. We also have I know we don't speak a lot about this, but we also have a $5 million fund. HoaQ fund is managed by Yewande Odumosu. Yewande, do you want to speak a little about the fund, where we've deployed funds, and how much we've raised?
Hi everyone, thank you for having me. Can you guys hear me clearly?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. I run HoaQ's early stage fund called HoaQ's Venture Fund. We've had a remarkable year last year. We made, I think we did 1 exit from the report. We exited a company called Baseline to Cloudflare. That was a big win for us. We did additional follow-on. I mean, we've not publicly shared the companies that we invested in, but we're hoping that this year we share. We co-invested with the club, with Childek, Mira, and Go Lemon. Those are the deals that we did last year, and then we did Monaco as well. So there's fintech, there's logistics, there's what I say, commerce. The club has been supporting also in terms of activities. So you notice most of the activities we did last year, we did it with the club, and so far we've done 16 deals, 13 in pre-seed, 2 in seed, 1 in Series A. One of the, and I'm sure my colleagues are wondering why I'm mentioning this now because I'm very secretive. One of our biggest investments is Len5. Obviously, Len5 is doing so well. So the fund has had like remarkable success. We're working harder to get to a point where we can now publicly announce properly and also hit like the milestones that we've wanted to hit in terms of funding. We're still fundraising. But like I said, we've had remarkable success. We've had Len5 in the portfolio. We've exited Baseline. You know, it's not every day you find an early stage fund exiting a company to a publicly listed company. So Cloudflare is a publicly listed company, and you know that was indication that you know some of the time, and I think my colleagues Nubi and Folakemi have mentioned some of the time you have different kind of exits, and for us that was a big learning. It was a learning point. It was also an indication and validation to show that you know of our thesis of backing you know really amazing founders early enough and having them have like either to merge or to get their own outsized returns like IPOs or to publicly listed company. I think I've mentioned everything. Yes, we've done investments in 7 countries. Our last investment got us to the corridors of French-speaking countries and France with Monaco. We've also done investments in the UK. We've done a couple of investments in Nigeria. I think we have an investment in Togo. So we have like distributed across Africa and UK. We're hoping to do more in America based on you know our strategy for the year. So if there are deals in America from African founders that I think are interesting, please let us know. Like I said, we're also fundraising, and by fingers crossed we should be able to have a bigger announcement later in the year. I don't want to run out of time, but I think I've covered everything. Thanks to everybody, to our LPs. We have some of the amazing LPs in the ecosystem. We also like thank everybody from the club. Like I said, we do activities with the club all the time. We had a really big event in London. We had one in Paris. Joe was at ATS last ATS, and I was in Amsterdam for Super Connect. But yes, thank you very much, and I think that's all from me.
Awesome. If you got learn about the fund, we'll put some links as well in the chat. But I think just last thing I'll just add to that is that many people have actually like gone the fund route where they don't want to participate on a per deal basis. So you put your money in the fund, and the fund helps you determine like where to deploy your funds. So you get exposure into different deals without you actively saying I want it to be that deal or that deal, which the club affords for you. So we have people like who want to be taking a more passive role or have like just much more capital to deploy to go in the fund routes. So that's one thing to keep in mind as well. I hope that answers the question that I think came through the chat.
Yeah.
Cool. What's the minimum? I think it's 25K Yes. Yeah. Cool.
So if you just want to learn more, you can reach out to Yewande at HoaQ.co, and she will respond to all your questions and also be able to share with you the memo.
Yeah.
Perfect. Thank you. So 2025 priorities for us at HoaQ Club and even HoaQ in general. The first one is continue to bring you high quality deals. Like we mentioned, we'll be continually mentioning, we are bringing you high quality deals to the community for you to back. Also sustain enablement through premium content. So outside of investment, HoaQ is a community. We have this thing called HoaQ Academy, where we drop all the resources and continue to share resources with you to learn more about angel investing, to learn more about the ecosystem. So like if we have a Slack channel as well dedicated to that, if you've not seen it at all, just go there and make use of all the resources available to you, to be honest. Also engagement, virtual and in-person events. Next week, we will be dropping the list of events that we would be having this year rather. So we have this thing where we do in-person events with community members across summer. So last year we did in London, we did in Lagos, we did in Dubai, we did in some other countries as well. This year we'll also be doing in countries as well, and we'll just be sharing with you. We are open to collaborations, partnerships. Last year we were able to partner with Winback, Madika, Termaya, and some other amazing people, and this year we will be doing that as well. And if you have any opportunities for us for partnering, collaborations, just feel free to reach out. I mean, people in America, we want to actually hear from you. It's usually people in Europe that speak up. They're like, we want this, come here. So people in America, we're here.
I mean, we've done stuff in San Francisco, I believe, once.
Yes,
yeah, it'd be good to do more in the US. US cities, Austin, Texas, New York, Dallas. Yeah, definitely want to be out there. So to let us know, and we'll support you. Whatever. I mean, we're you won't by yourself. We'll give you all the support you need to pull up a mixer, a meetup in your city.
Okay, New York. All right. This year as well, we'll be launching new initiatives to support the wider ecosystem and advisory activities. Once we would share more on that in the Slack channel. So if you're not a HoaQ member, you know what to do. Use any of the links that we've shared below. For the fund, we'll be focusing on portfolio support and growth for existing companies, stressing the ecosystem as well. We have a software that we use called Borderless. Borderless support. Do you want to take this?
Oh yes. Hi everyone. I am Joe, also known as Borderless Support. Yes.
You know, for a very long time, Patrick Collison of Stripe on his LinkedIn had like customer support as his role.
Maybe I should do that. I mean, I do support Borderless. For those who don't know what Borderless is, it is the infrastructure for investment communities with a focus on the African diaspora. So if you joined the HoaQ maybe in the past 15 months or so, you definitely came through a tool called Platform, and now we are upgrading Platform, changing the name, changing the features to Borderless. Right now we're kind of in between software, and so it's slightly not fluid, but change is coming. We're hoping to at least migrate HoaQ as a community to Borderless as quickly as possible. And then once that's done, we will invite other community investment communities to come and use the platform. The vision for Borderless really is, can we now have our own angel list where we can co-invest in a lot of opportunities, from startups to real estate to debt to diaspora bonds, whatever the case is. And that's the vision. And we really, really, really want to have the technology that will enable us to funnel as much capital to people who need it the most. And I have dedicated, nearly 2 years working on this. And I'm super fortunate to have a lot of people within the community who've backed us. For context, HoaQ members are the largest investors in this platform, and it gives me a lot of hope. But also, it's such an important responsibility that I don't take very lightly. And so, if you are a HoaQ member, please, as soon as Borderless is available, please come and use it, give us feedback. And I'm not saying that actually because I know HoaQ members give feedback. So please don't stop anytime soon. But also, if you are somebody who's on this call or watching this video and you want to start your own investment community, The whole aim of Borderless is to make it easy for everybody to just get started, turnkey solution so that you can do your investment. So what we provide you is we make it easy for you to onboard your members. You do KYC, we collect money for you, we collect membership fees for you, we help you with reporting, we provide you with ways to mail and speak to your community, a ton of features. And this is at the back of a lot of feedback that we received from people who wanted to use the platform, but also the whole community. So the aim is to have something out about it before the end of the quarter. So please keep an eye out. I'm also fundraising. I'm raising $500,000, and at the time of this video, we've raised about 60% of this round, and still actively fundraising. I plan to do an EIS or SEIS round for folks in the UK. I'm just waiting for my approval from the HMRC. But yeah, I know that all of you have money to give me, so I need to make sure that I get my SEIS clearance so that you can give me money and we can build our own version of AngelList. Thank you all.
Yeah, I just want to also add as well, like Joe mentioned, like we started this like 5 years ago with startups, and now we see Diaspora House with real estate. Imagine the number of startup communities, real estate communities, but even other asset classes as well, like one for art, or one for film, like film financing is now like becoming like a very interesting thing where you can actually put money into a film, and then within 36 months, you get your a return in investment there. Something with like art collections or even like funding capital projects. I know debt is a very interesting asset class right now to just even back very interesting business that have very good margins and cash flow. That's okay. You know what? Let's pump in some money here to help you scale and then get the returns on a yearly basis as well. So we see that there's now that again opportunity to actually start looking into different asset classes other than startups, where again there's a long wait period. Although it's not long, to be honest. Like, I mean, for people that got paid out a few days ago, they waited like what, 24 months. So yeah, not the 10 years. We've got 10-year startup exits timeline and all. But also say that again, Borderless then just makes all of these things possible. Where think about like a group of people in grad school, or a group of people who work in tech, or a group of people who are just friends, could even come together around the capital and then just again back different kind of assets as well. So yeah, I'm super excited to see how this will supercharge the proliferation of investing as well. All right, cool. I guess we are in our final stretch, 15 minutes. So let's see how much we can run into the last segment of this. This meeting. Yeah.
Thank you very much. This will be the end of 2024 now. Let's leave 2024 behind and face 2025. We have some ecosystem predictions. Again, predictions. What we think is going to happen in the year. So we're all just going to go around the room. If you have any predictions of your own, you can easily just drop it as well in the comments and we'll just read it out loud. Nothing is set in stone. Again, that's the caveat here. Predictions. So don't say, oh, this did not happen, but you said it was going to happen. That's not what we're doing. So Nubi, do you want to say one, and everyone will just go around one?
Yeah, I'll start with one. Mine is like non-African startups will start looking at Africa as a very interesting market. And why I say that is two things. Number one, stablecoins and cryptocurrency, and number two, cross-border commerce. So I think now, before, like when you think about emerging markets from the West, people go, oh, Mexico or Latin America and all, and but now when with cryptocurrency and stable coins, like Africa is like, you just cannot ignore that market anymore. And so you see people from day one, again, non-African startups. So you see like pretty much like just a guy from Stanford or from an American or a European now think, okay, do you know what? From day one, I'm building this cross-border payment solution or remittance platform for emerging markets, and that would include Mexico and Brazil and India and Nigeria and Kenya and South Africa, all from day one. Because again, what stablecoins unlocks, because again, it's just again once fiat changes into USDT, USDC. That's it. It can move anywhere, above compliance, above regimes, above all those like again bottlenecks. And so it's almost like freeing money to move more freely. And so I think we would see more of that. And we've started seeing things like that already. Like I think it was a YC company 2 days ago already announced that they're actually going to be launching cross-border payments powered by stablecoin, and they're actually looking at Kenya, Nigeria, Ghana, South Africa from day one. And so I think that's going to be an interesting thing that we'll actually see more of. And I hope Africans as well step up to capture this opportunity as well, because at least local context will be could be an advantage as well in winning that land grab, if you want to call it that.
Nubi, which company is this?
I would look for the name and put in the chat, but it's the latest YC batch. Yeah.
Okay, this current batch.
Yes.
Okay, interesting.
Okay, I think I'll go next, right? Then Joe, you can go next. So I'm anticipating there will be more merger and acquisitions, and I think that's already happening, right? Now, work with me. You know how like when you're trying to build, when a startup is building a venture scalable business, you tend to build a Pan-African platform. But I think in this year, we're going to see more startups go into from emerging markets to emerging markets. For instance, watch this LeFi space where they acquired a company in, what country is that? Brazil? Ireland, right? Now they are leveraging the company's license in order to move into the EU. So like instead of starting up their own operation and trying to buy the license for themselves, they're just leveraging off of the company's licensing. And I think more of that is going to happen this year, and is already happening. Move the same thing with Brazil. There will just be more strategic mergers and acquisitions for businesses to move from emerging markets to other emerging markets. Now, nobody's saying that they're not going to continue to, move around the Pan-African platform. They will still do that. But for you to scale faster, moving from emerging markets to emerging markets. I mean, happy to hear thoughts. And Joe, and any predictions?
I think like it started with, what's that company? That Benin CEO, the fintech.
Quara?
No. The one that Guerra used to work at. Wanafreak, yeah, Wanafreak. Yeah, like I think Wanafreak was the first people to do it when they acquired a company in the US for the card business, but I don't think we paid minds to that. And the world these days still relies heavily on, I use the term Western infrastructure. And for a lot of companies to really move faster, they have access to capital now, so they're gonna go and acquire these companies in order to scale. And we're seeing that we saw it on a freak. Now we're seeing it with Empire, and we're gonna continue to see a lot of acquisition in that space. So like the guys from the global South going to essentially take over what's happening in the West.
Yeah. I think another one I think for me is, let's zoom into Nigeria. Very similar to what I said around, like again, that cross-border play and stable coins and all. We're seeing fintechs, I mean, like 2-3 years ago, like every fintech was actually acquiring an MFB license. And that's because they wanted to actually just again have regulatory coverage. But we've seen more fintechs now acquiring IMTO licenses. And it's like IMTOs are the new MFBs. Like MFBs are out, IMTOs are in. And that's again because of that capture of FX margins and FX opportunities, where payments as a business, like the margins are shrinking and shrinking and shrinking, but making money from just swapping currencies and hedging and things like that, and the spread that brings is very attractive. And the demand is not being met. This supply of like FX is just not enough. And so leaning on crypto, leaning on stablecoin, leaning on again the black market and all is just very important. And so you see a lot of fintechs are now just again acquiring an IMCO license and going after that opportunity as well as a big part of their revenue or monetization strategy. Now, many of them will still focus on their local markets and or software if that's what they started with. But this is becoming like a big part of how fintechs are actually evolving. I think it's very Nigerian in nature. I was trying to think about are there other markets in Africa where this is the case? I think it seems to be particular for Nigerian-born fintechs, although they might have like IMTO licenses also in other jurisdictions like Canada, the UK, the US as well, like with the MSB license. But I think it's just I'm shocked when I just see like every other day there's a fintech who's got an IMTO license or acquired one, and I'm like, oh, it used to be HR payroll software, but now you so it's I think we'll see more and more of that. Now regulators could actually come back and clamp down on this, but I think again, like I said, from a market dynamic point of view of like demand and supply, we just don't have enough people serving that need, and so I think we just see more and more of that in 2025. Yeah,
It's worth adding that Nubi has been working with Paystack and Stripe combined for 9 years. So just in case you're wondering why does he know this, he probably has proprietary information that the average Joe doesn't have. He's been in this world for too long. He's been around for way too long, and he's still at Paystack. So he sees that things that some of us don't see. Anyway, what's the next on the agenda? I'm conscious of time. We have 5 minutes. I think it's my predictions, right?
What are the interests from HoaQ for? Sorry.
Egypt. North Africa is a very interesting one. Yes, we're always keeping our eyes peeled, but I think it's going to be hard for. I mean, someone should prove me wrong, but I've not even seen any African VC crack that code yet. Like Ventures platform, I think maybe Lofty Inc. did something there, but Ingressive went there sometimes as well. But yeah, I think North Africa right now is interesting because I think when I think North Africa, the next thing I think about is GCC because I'm based in Dubai, and so it's like North Africa is like okay, North Africa, Sudan, Morocco, and then you think, oh, okay, Dubai, UAE, Saudi Arabia, Kuwait, and also it's kind of like outward looking. Sometimes very similar to South Africa, where South Africa is almost like South Africa, where do you move to from there? Oh, okay, yeah, the UK, the US. So that's a very interesting. But we always are keeping our eyes peeled on that. Yeah.
Folakemi, we got an introduction to an Egyptian company. So last week from
yes.
Yeah,
and we'll be speaking to them next week. I think like it's going to be interesting, especially with like the government policies coming up. I'd see like Morocco, Rwanda to be like the next tech hub. To be honest, I think they're up and coming. So yeah, interesting.
I think Shago has his hands up. I'm curious what.
Yeah, Shago, go on.
Okay, thanks. Sorry guys, I had a quick question, and it takes you back a little bit, but and you may not have all the time to answer. An email will also help. Were there concerns when people were investing in Diaspora House about the FX fluctuations and all that? I'm just curious what the thinking was. Thanks. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so the one that we acquired was in Kenya, and up till early last year, the Kenyan shilling was quite volatile. But the Central Bank of Kenya, I don't know what it did, but the currency has been quite stable, relatively. I think it's fluctuated between like 128 and 130 to the dollar for the past couple of months. And we haven't seen any dramatic fluctuation, especially in Kenya. Yes, I'm not complaining because it really allows us to do what we do. But in order to mitigate for these, what we do is we actually like price the assets locally. And as soon as we collect money, we convert immediately to Kenyan shilling, so that you're not exposed to any crazy fluctuation, because you don't want to hold dollar and then the thing just goes the other way. In Nigeria, maybe that's one of the reasons why we haven't looked at Nigeria. It's super. I was in Lagos in June, and I always said that 3 agents gave me 3 different prices for one property. And I'm like, okay, guys, I'll have to come back on this. But in Kenya, at least there's been some stability, which is great. But as I can see, it says suspiciously stable. So at least we're working with what we have for now.
Joe, why do you always have to bring Nigeria into this?
I mean, I was going to just say as well, like Joe is also billing. I mean, I was billed in dollars as well, so that's, you should actually also call that out. That you know also.
Yes. So again, when you look at the other side of what we do at Diaspora House, when we take money from you in dollars, we want to pay you back in dollars, meaning that when people are renting, the people that we're renting to, we expect them to pay in dollars. I sent the invoice this morning, it was in dollars, and that's because we want people who are coming from the diaspora to pay dollars. And I hope we're very dollarized. We've been dollarized from day one. And I think that provides protection for our customers, from our users and investors, everybody. So yeah, we also bill in dollars. I mean, we'll take in and shillings, but as soon as we collect that money, it'll be converted into dollars. That takes me to the next part, which is my predictions, which is the merchant of record. And we actually use a HoaQ portfolio company to essentially move all the money that we use for Diaspora House through a merchant of record. Because Diaspora House is leveraging Borderless, which company's Platform Technology Limited. That company collects the money, but like we don't have local entities in Kenya or Nigeria. And what that means is we use a local setup, which is a merchant who represents us on the ground. And that company helped us with essentially moving over $100,000. And surprisingly, I did a lot of these negotiations via WhatsApp. And we're going to see a lot of merchant of record. One of our portfolio companies, also in East Africa, just announced that they're expanding using the merchant of record model to cater to Chinese merchants. And like the trade between China and East Africa is just growing exponentially. And I think that market is going to be big. My second prediction is a lot of companies will continue to expand to the UK. And we recently have Tix.Africa, who now enable people in the UK to buy tickets. It's a no-brainer. They collect GBP that helps them hedge against the Naira. And also we saw Bamboo, which is another portfolio company, got a license in Canada. We are looking to see how we can help them expand in Europe. So like, I think we're going to see a lot more companies building for the world from day one. And we've been saying this for many years, but it's really happening where we know that, okay, Naira is not going to drop dramatically. So a lot of the Nigerian companies, when they're getting started, they're thinking, okay, where else can I go outside Nigeria to hedge from day one? Now, I'm sorry, we are at time, and we have a very important announcement. Is everybody ready? Yeah, everybody's ready. Okay, so Nubi and I think 5 years ago, we're talking about HoaQ. When he said the name, I'm like, sir, what the hell is this name? In true Nubi form, it stands for half of a quarter. And since then, Nubi and I have been meeting every Saturday. I think we stopped it about a year and a half ago, but like for a very long time, Nubi and I met every Saturday for over 3 years. And when Folakemi joined us, Folakemi joined while Nubi and I still had full-time jobs. And I remember I prepped Folakemi so that she can interview with Nubi because I really liked her and I thought that she could be a great resource for us. Folakemi essentially ran this club while Nubi and I were still working full-time. We supported her, gave all the resources, and she's still with us today. If you're part of the whole community, you don't know Folakemi, you're not in the right place, just in case, just saying. And the reason why I keep mentioning Folakemi is as of today, starting in 2 days, Folakemi will now become the general manager of HoaQ Club. I'm just going to take a pause there and take all the claps. Come on, guys. Yeah, see, that's what I'm saying. It's so easy. Folakemi knows this. Like the work that she's been doing is of a general manager. Like she runs this club all by herself, and I am so comfortable to just hand her the keys to run so if you have any issues, please don't, no, you can still text me. But Folakemi, as of now, runs the community, and she's been doing it by herself for the longest time. Folakemi will be at ATS in Nairobi in 2 weeks, and with this, call it promotion. Sorry, Folakemi, I know you've been doing this work for a while. But with this promotion, you will get to see Folakemi hopefully across the world. And please leverage her. She is a great resource. She literally helped build HoaQ, and it's such a pleasure to have her now as the general manager of HoaQ Club. All right. Folakemi, do you have, let me just give you the mic. Do you want to?
Sure. Thank you very much. On behalf of my family and friends, I'm sorry. On behalf of God, I want to say thank you. But thank you very much for this. I'm happy to still be here and to continue to share high quality deals and just to take HoaQ to the next level. So exciting things coming.
All right,
All
Nubi,
right.
any parting words?
For me, it's a big thank you. I mean, I like Joe said, like Folake is really the engine behind all. Yeah, all of our investments, end-to-end management of those processes, the documentation, which cash comes in, cash goes out. Yeah, make sure everything works. Like she's definitely been that engine, and so this is just more by acknowledging that. And I think, like Joe said, we've been doing this for a while, and I think it's just best to have a step in and drive this to the next level. We'll still be very much around in advisory and supportive roles. But yes, Folake will be running yeah, HoaQ going forward. And just want to just say thank you and wish her luck on our journey. Yeah, she takes it to the next, takes it up a notch. Yeah, but yeah, a big thank you and a big thank you to the community as well for supporting us, all of us, since we got started with on this journey. It's been a interesting curve, if you want to call it that. But again, with Diaspora House, with Borderless, with just again formidable Africans building, not settling. I'm very excited about the future. So thank you all, everyone as well. Yeah.
Thank
And
you.
with that being said, thank you all. I don't know, what was the title that I gave myself after you? I gave
Creative
myself a title.
director.
Yes, I will be now the creative director of HoaQ. And your favorite venture partner. I mean, I love bringing deals. So creative director, supporting Folakemi GM. And Nubi, what's your title again? Okay. Okay.
Operator.
Well,
Link you to everybody.
yeah. Well, thank you all for joining. I am now have to go and yeah, head up. But thank you. This was a great session. A lot coming. Please support Folakemi, and anything that you need will be here to support you as well. Thank you.
All right.
Yes.
Yes, guys.
We have 2 new deals coming tomorrow. So just watch out for the 2 new deals for the month. Exciting, to be honest, because I think is a new market that we're going into. So, and we also have the Meet the Founder session on Tuesday. So just watch out. If you're already on our Slack, the links will be dropped.
And if you're not, please get in.
Get in quickly.
All
Good
right.
night, guys.
Bye, everyone.
Bye. Okay, so much. So much stuff.